So in this chapter, we're going to talk about air conditioning and how it's beneficial for your indoor garden environment. Air conditioning provides what fans can't provide. Basically, it sets the right temperature in the room and controls the humidity and controls that temperature. It gets really hot in the rooms with all these lights in there and even people in there being active. It's really hot, so you got to be able to effectively control that, especially if you're using CO2. It's especially if you're using CO2, because the thing is you're not going to have any type of exhaust unit on all the time like you do without CO2. Other than that, the exhaust unit will be on all the time. It'll help regulate the temperature. So air conditioning units pump out different types of what's called BTU. BTU stands for British Thermal Unit. Okay, so when it pumps out BTU, you got to regulate that BTU somehow, and sometimes it's hard to calculate that. But I would say for every 1,000 watt, air-cooled 1,000 watt light that you have, you want to pump at least anywhere between 3,000 and 3,400 BTU into the room per light. In this way, it'll keep the room nice and cool, and you won't have to worry about any type of heat issues later on down the line. AC units come in different types of sizes and functions. Obviously, everybody's heard of a window AC unit. A window AC unit just sits in the window, but it exchanges the air. Air passes over the condenser, and then the air gets cooled and then pulls it back into the room. Not the best AC unit to use. Now they have portable air conditioning units where they roll on wheels and casters, and you're able to hook up some ducting to either of the pipes, and then this helps facilitate better air conditioning in the room. But there's even a better one, and the better one is called a mini split. A mini split is basically a condenser unit on the outside of the room which cools the air, and on the inside it's called an air handler, and that gets mounted on the top somewhere of the room, maybe on the near the ceiling or however your room's set up. That provides the most amount of air, and then you have no exchange of smell coming in through there either. So the Freon runs through a pipe, and it's called a line set, and the line set hooks up to the AC unit or the air handler, and then that pulls the cold air into the room. You want to use AC for sure if, like I said, you're using CO2, if you're just trying to get your room cool, or if you're not using air-cooled lights. If you're not using air-cooled lights, you're probably more than likely going to have to use AC, just for the fact that it gets way too hot in the room. I mean, using AC will definitely cool the temperature and get it right. So if you're not using air-cooled lights, you want to have at least 4,000 to 4,500 BTU per light to make sure that you're able to cool the room effectively. So that ends it for our air conditioning chapter.